The output is always going to be your y. Your output is always going to be your y. It's going to be the thing that responds to whatever it is that you put into the thing. So if you have 5 bees, it's going to give you 1 milliliter of honey. In all reality, just for fun facts, it takes a bee 6 weeks to make 2 tablespoons of honey. That is its only lifespan. It lives for 6 weeks and then it dies. So in its entire life, it makes 2 tablespoons of honey. Just for fun facts. Yes? And only the girl bees, the worker bees, you're fine. Only the girl bees, the worker bees are the ones that make the honey. The drones are the ones that are the boy bees, and they go out and they find new places. And then the queen lays up to 2,000 eggs per day. So when they said 700,000 birds in one hive, that's a very accurate number because 2,000 eggs per day. And then the worker bees, the girl bees, they go in and they feed them and they make sure that they live. They're really cool. I'll show you some pictures one day. Okay, so we know that our output's going to be the y. But what's the m represent? The slope. So the slope is going to be our m. It's just the placeholder for what the slope's going to be. And then what multiplies times our m? Our x. So we have our x, and that's going to be the input. So our output is the y, our slope is the m, our input is the x. So where does the b come from? The y-intercept. Okay, so remember the other day whenever I said that the position of the line determines where it's going to cross? So that position of the line is usually your y-intercept. Okay? So right now, what's the position of our line? Where is it crossing? At 0, 0. So what is our b going to be? 0. We're going to work our way backwards. And then what multiplies together? Always our what? Our slope and our x. Do we know what our x is? Do we know what our x is? We don't know what our x is? You can take any coordinate point, it doesn't matter. So let's choose this coordinate point. I don't know why they use the letter m, because then it's going to confuse everybody when we get to the slope part. But we know that our x is 1. And we're going to multiply times our slope. Do we know what our slope is yet? Can we figure it out? Yes or no? Don't we know how to do that from 2 points? So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what's y2? M. And what's y1? 0 over x2, which is 1, minus what? x1, which is 0. So what is our slope? M. Huh. And that is going to give us our output. And what's our output? Y. So ready? The equation of a line is like this. Y equals m times the value of x plus the y-intercept. In our case, our y-intercept is 0. We can take any of our slope, which is m, and multiply it times any x value. and it's going to give us our y value. Are we okay with that? Any questions at the moment? Okay. Turn the page. Let's look at number 3. So, what's our first step? Find 2 points. That was one option. Anybody else have another option? What's a good starting point? How can we start? So find 2 points was one. What are we trying to do? What's our goal? Well, what does it say? Write an equation of each line. What is the formula for slope-intercept form of a line? The y is going to equal the slope times the value of what? X plus where it crosses the what? Y-axis. So it's going to be our y-intercept, our starting point. So let's find 2 points on our line. Usually it helps if we find a starting point and another point. So where is our starting point on this line? 0, 0. Go ahead and label it. Find me another point on this line. 2, 4. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and write my 2 coordinates over here on the side, guys. So, in reality, Cameron, you should be writing, please. We should have our y is going to equal whatever our x is times our slope plus what? B. What's our B? What's our y-intercept? 0. It's 0. Look where it's crossing. Are y'all okay with this? Is everybody okay? Okay, so now our only job is to figure out our what? Our slope. How do we figure out our slope? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is what? x1, y1, x2, y2. You could do 0 minus 4 over 0 minus 2, and that's going to give you 4 over 2 or 2, because a negative and a negative make a positive. So what should go right here in this blank? A 2. Let's see if that works. You know how we're going to see if that works? We're going to take this coordinate point and plug it in and see if it makes it true. So, what's our y coordinate? 4. Okay, and what's our slope? 2. Is anybody other than Joelle understanding this? Because you aren't responding, so I want to make sure we're okay. Okay, and then what's our x value? And that same coordinate point. 2 plus 0. So does 4 equal 4? Yes. Okay. So that means that this coordinate point allows for us to write this equation, and it helped us to solve for the slope. Do you see how they're all connected? Every x and y, if you plug it into the equation, it's going to make the equation true if it's on the line. Ready? So I want you to go ahead and do number 4 for me. Uh-oh. What's the problem? What's wrong? It's a negative slope. He's rolling down the hill. So I want you to go ahead and solve for the slope of this one. Yes, so look, watch. If you use the first coordinate point, if you put y as 0, so if you wrote this, 0 equals 2, which is our slope, times 0 plus 0, what's going to happen? 0 equals 0, so that means it's another equation. Oh, yeah. So it just means it's another point on the line. You could choose any other point on the line. You could do this one, and it would work too. Yep. You could even do the one that doesn't have it and use that, and it would still work. Yes. Well, where's it crossing the y-axis? Where's the line crossing the y-axis? And what's the y value for that? So that's the y-intercept. It just tells you where the placement of the line is for graph. What did we figure out? What are 2 points on my line? 0, 0, and I'm going to go this way, or I could go this way. Either way would work, right? Is that okay? Okay. And if we have a slope, we're going, it's easy when the line's already drawn for you, because you could just do this. Down to over what? Down to over 3, right? But if the slope wasn't there, you could take it and do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Ready? So ready? Where does it cross? So y is going to equal what our slope is. What's our slope? Negative 2 over 3 times the value of x. And where's it crossing the y-axis? At 0. Does anybody have any questions about what I just did? I'm getting some eyes, so I want to make sure that we're okay. We good? Did everybody get that? Okay. Now we want to know how to graph it if we don't have any coordinate points and we just have a slope. Well, you good? Okay. So, what is its y-intercept? 0. Why? Because there's nothing there. So, that means our first point can be this. Question, is our slope positive or negative? Positive. So, it needs to go this direction. Okay, Do y'all see how Miss Godey's asking herself questions every time that she does it? Where should I start? Well, I don't know what my starting point is because I need to know what my y-intercept is. What's my y-intercept? There's nothing there, so that means that my y-intercept is 0. Is my slope positive or negative? It's positive, so if it's positive, my line's going to go up. So, how can I use my slope to figure out my next point? Christopher says go up 1 and to the right twice. Do y'all agree or disagree? Agree. So watch. We can go up 1 and over 2. Can we keep doing that? Yeah. Do we need to do 1,000,000 points? Can we just do 3? Yeah. And if we just do 3, look what happens. We can then take our straight edge and draw our line. This is the line whose name is y equals 1/2 times x. So if you took any value, somebody give me a value of x. X equals 3. Okay, so let's see what our y is going to be when our x is 3. Ready? So y equals our slope, which is 1 over 2 times 3. Let's go ahead and multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. So when x is 3, y is going to be 1/2. Is that true? Is that where it's graphed? Give me another value for x. A big number. 7. Okay. So, if y equals 1/2 times 7, we're going to input the 7. That means that the output has to be its y value. So let's see what happens. What's 1 times 7? 7. And what's 7 divided by 2? 3.5. So y equals 3.5. If we go to 7 and we go here, is it about 3.5? Miss Godey's line is just off, but it should be there. Does that make sense? So every input that you put for x is going to give you a value for y because all of your coordinate points are related to the line. They have a relationship. They're friends. Just making sure they're friends. Okay, so what's the difference about number 6? It's a negative slope. So negative slope means that we're going to go down. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and try to graph our negative slope. Graph your line. I want to see your lines graphed. Remember, we have to draw our whole line, okay? Find a straight edge. Yeah. Finish. Volunteer to go put it on the board. Go ahead, Cooper. You can sit if you want to. Can you explain why you're doing it, please? So where's our first point have to be?
Our first point has to be at 0, 0
Why
because
0, 0?
there's nothing here.
Because there's nothing there. So if there's nothing there, then what? We start at the y-intercept. Okay, so listen. Remember how I said if they don't give you a starting point, start at the origin? Okay, so guess what's going to happen if there's a number right here? They're going to tell you where you're starting. That's going to be your starting point. Okay? So, go ahead.
So what I did next is I knew that the equation for slope is rise over run. So what I did was go down 4 since it's negative, and then over 3 since that's the run.
Do y'all agree with Cooper? You're going to go down 4 and over 3? Okay, cool. And do you need to draw any more lines? Like any more dots? Or can you just draw your line now?
Probably one more.
Okay, go ahead and do one more then.
So down 4
Down 4.
over 3.
And you can use the ruler right there if you'd like to.
Might be a little wrong.
Beautiful. Okay, make sure to put your arrows. Why do we need arrows? We want the reader to know that we're doing what? That the line's going to keep going, right? It's not just a line segment. Good job, Cooper. Okay, so ready? Let's keep going. Number 7. You good? Okay, number 7 just, oh no, this is confusing. I don't know what to do. Well, there's no numbers. Did you get it? Sometimes they're kind of wonky. Okay. Okay, so how do I start this problem? -1 what? I have one at my house. An old-fashioned one? Uh-huh. Pencil sharpener? Yes, ma'am. You can go. Okay, so how do I start this problem? First of all, do we know where our starting point is? Did they give us a starting point? No, so that means that we need to start where? 0, 0. Okay. Second question, is it positive or negative? Negative. Okay. Give yourself clues, that way you don't get stuck in the process. Yeah? It takes a whole 2 seconds. Okay, but the problem is we have no numbers. Or do we? It's 1. Okay, do y'all agree with Marley saying it's 1? What's a negative mean? Is it? It says y equals negative x though. So what's their slope right here? 1, right? So that means that we're going to go down 1 over what? 1. Why? Because any number can be written over what? 1. So if I had a -3 right there, you could go down 3 over 1. Anytime you have a negative number next to an x, it's the same as saying a negative 1 times that value of x. So, this is our slope. Our slope is a negative 1. So we're going to go down 1, over 1. Down 1, over 1. Down 1, over 1. Like this. Yes, sir. What do you mean, where did I get the positive 1? Why did I put it over a positive 1? Okay, what's a negative divided by a positive? Huh? What is a negative 1 divided by a positive 1? Negative what? That's where I got the positive 1 from. Any whole number can be written over 1 as a fraction. So if it's written over 1 as a fraction, then that means that if the number is negative, then it means that the bottom, the denominator, has to be positive. If the number is positive, and there's a negative right there, then it means that there's a negative for the denominator. Okay, ready? Let's look at number 8. Consider the line graphed in the coordinate plane. I want you to use the slope triangle to see if you can figure out the equation of the line. Slope triangle. Ready? So, that means that we're going to have this situation right here. It basically means that you now have to figure out your slope. That's what they want you to do. They want you to find your slope. So we're going to find our slope. If you do not like using the slope triangle, you do not have to use it. You can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But my question is, did they give you a starting point? Yeah, they did give us a starting point. So we now know that we're going to start at what? At what? 0, 3. So what does that mean about our equation? So y equals m times x plus what? Who agrees with Joel? That's going to be 3. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to find your slope. Go. You're looking for your slope. You're using your 2 coordinates. 1, 5 and 0, 3. Remember what we did yesterday? x1, y1, x2, y2. Is our slope going to be positive or negative? Positive. What's 3 minus 5? Class? Negative 2. What's 0 minus 1? Negative 1. When you have a negative and a negative, it means that it's going to be a positive 2. So, let's finish our equation. What's our equation? Y equals, what's our slope? 2 times what? X plus what? 3. So, if we plug in the value here, it should give us the value, sorry, if we plug in x here, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. Is that the y value that we get? Then that means it's a coordinate point. So ready? I want you to do number, no, I don't want you to do number 9. There we go. I want you to do number 10, please. Yeah. Put it on your desk so that it's good. No one cares if you have it on your desk. I want to check number 10. So I know it's starting where? At 0, 3. So I know my starting point is my B. Are we okay with that? Okay. Then I need to figure out my what? My slope. So I can go up and over. I went up how many? 2 over 5. So we know that this is my slope. Do we need to figure out an x and y? No. Can we use the x and y to figure out everything else? Yes. So we know that the value of y is going to equal our slope, 2 over 5 times whatever x is that goes with the y, plus 3. Can we check that? Y'all want to check it? Let's check it. This is 5, 5. Let's go ahead and plug that value in. So we're going to have the value of y should equal 2 over 5 times 5 over 1 plus 3. Why did Miss Gertie put it over 1? Because we're multiplying fractions and that makes life easier. So what's 2 times 5? 10. What is 5 times 1? 5. What's 10 divided by 5? 2. What's 2 plus 3? Does that match the 5 that's up here? Yes. Okay, so that's how that works. Did y'all do number 11? Okay, I'll wait. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try number 12 and 13. I'm making you do what? You can go ahead and check your work when you're done doing it, okay?